Well, good afternoon. I'm Katie Loovis, Vice President for External Affairs at the Chamber for Greater Chapel Hill-Carrboro. Part of my role, I have the pleasure of directing Leadership Chapel Hill-Carrboro. It is our annual leadership program that has been out of touch for the last 2 years with COVID, but we are so excited to bring it back. On this call today, I have our Chamber President and CEO, Erin Nelson. I have McKenzie Reinhold, our Director of Programs and Events. McKenzie is going to monitor the chat, and if anyone raises their hand, if they have a question throughout, and she'll flag that for me because it's a little tricky to go through the PowerPoint and share information and keep an eye on all those moving pieces. And then I believe we have Ori St. Germain with us as well. Ori is our Head of Communications for the Chamber. We are, during this program, we have an hour designated. I don't think we'll need the full hour, but we've got it if we need it. Here's how this program is going to flow. So I'm going to give you a very quick overview of Leadership Chapel Hill-Carrboro. And then we're going to pause. I'm going to take down the slides and we're going to go around the horn and have each of you introduce yourself, your name and your organization. And then if you would just share, if you were to sign up for Leadership 2022, what is it that you're hoping to get out of the program? That your response is actually going to help inform me for the rest of the program, because as I know what you're looking for, we're going to dive deeper into the leadership competencies, what you actually get out of this program, how it's designed. And I'll be candid with you. If what you're looking for is not what we're built for, I will happily refer you to another program that might be best suited for your needs and interests. But we have a pretty special program that really is really fit for a lot of purposes. We'll also take a look at a gallery of some pictures of past participants so you can see them in action and really get a sense of what this program is all about. Then we'll quickly go through the requirements and the registration process. And then I'm going to turn it back over to you all so that we can have a discussion, answer any questions that you might have, handle any concerns. And then we'll talk about next steps and we'll adjourn. Are there any questions or comments before I get to it? Okay, I'm not hearing or seeing any, so I'm going to get, and McKenzie, just let me know if you see any hands go up, okay? All right, well, first of all, here's the graduation picture of our Leadership Chapel Hill-Carrboro class of 2018. You might see some familiar faces here. We have Jerry, we've got one of your Durham Tech colleagues, Makara Sessoms, in there. For UNC folks, a former colleague of yours, Kate, is in the middle there. Anyone from a nonprofit, we have Vicky from El Centro Hispano. We have folks from the hospitality industry, UNC Health, all sorts of folks in here. Chapel Hill Police Department on the top left. So a lot of familiar faces. Okay, Leadership Chapel Hill-Carrboro. This is an extensive program. It's now in its 36th year, and it is designed to help you get informed, developed, connected, and engaged. It is designed for folks on all parts of the spectrum of the leadership journey. So if you are just starting out in your professional career and you're an emerging leader, or if you're further down in your career and you are an established and committed leader, this program is built to meet both of your needs. The program will broaden your understanding of issues and opportunities that are facing our region. We're going to refine your leadership skills, help you establish lasting relationships, and then help you deepen your influence through ongoing networking and service opportunities. So again, this is a cohort experience made up of committed and emerging leaders who live and work in our region and all share a desire for a greater Chapel Hill-Carrboro. The program features nearly a dozen sessions over about a 5-month period. So we're going to get started in mid-May, wrap up by early September. So think of it as the summertime. Most of our sessions, not all, but most of them are the second and fourth Thursday of the month. And they are all-day sessions. So this is an extensive time commitment, but we pack it full of great experiences for you. The program takes place mostly in Orange County, but also in some Southwest Durham County and Northern Chatham, mostly in the towns of Chapel Hill, Carrboro, and Hillsborough. Again, it's a cohort-based learning experience. Through the program, you're going to receive presentations, You're going to have tours. You're going to go and see things. You'll have experiential learning activities and facilitated dialogue. The topics that we cover are critical issues in our community. We start with history and governance to give you a really good sense of the lay of the land in this place. We'll dive into the economy, education and workforce development, economic and community development, health and human services, university relations, safety and equity, and arts and tourism and the environment. These are subject to change. Every year we tweak the program to make it perfectly fit for the purposes that year, but generally those are the themes. Okay, this is really important to me, competencies. So as you think about enrolling into Leadership Chapel Hill-Carrboro, these are our 4 value propositions. These are the competency domains that we want to see developed for you. We want you to be more informed. And what we mean by that is that you are going to broaden your understanding of the issues and opportunities facing this region. Second is getting more developed. We want to refine your leadership skills, and we have a lot of intentional programming to do that. Third is get connected. We want to help you establish meaningful and lasting relationships. And fourth is get engaged. This is not just a taking process. The idea is as you go through this program, you're going to find what stirs your heart and see areas where you can add your unique value to improve the community. And we want to help give you that easy entree so that you can do that, whether it's joining a nonprofit board, running for elected office, making the most at your organization to help your business succeed by having strong relationships and partnerships and all of that. So starting at the top, as far as getting informed, nearly every session, we start off, as I mentioned before, with a deep dive into the data. So Erin does an annual State of the Community report. We break it into bite-sized pieces. So each topic of the day, you're going to get a level set on what that state of play is, so that when you go into discussions with those leaders on those issues, you're going in smart. You know what the situation is, and you're going to be able to ask some really great questions and move that conversation forward. You're going to get informed by going and seeing. I believe it's an African term called Gemba. When I worked at GSK, they would say leaders needed to Gemba. It's the idea of get out of the corporate office, go to the manufacturing floor, see how things are done. And that's a lot of what this program is about. We're not just sitting in a room all day. We're getting out there and seeing things. So we start off with a guided bus tour through the whole region, and then you take tours of all sorts of significant places. So in the past, and likely this year, you'll do things like touring the men's shelter. You're going to tour a historic courthouse where our county was established. You'll see how our water treatment facility works for your drinking water, all sorts of things where you're going to see the mechanics behind it. And then, of course, get informed through critical experiences, such as riding alongside a police officer when they do their patrol and getting to talk with them directly about what that's like and having a candid conversation. And we have this thing called the Community Passport, which is a tick list of things you do on your own, ride public transportation, host a dinner using all locally sourced food, things like that, donating blood, and you tick off these experiences. And that really helps you get more informed about the community. The second domain, again, getting developed. This is refining your leadership skills. We have a partnership with Bell Leadership Institute. It's a prestigious leadership program out of UNC Chapel Hill. They're partnering with us and we'll do workshops with you to sharpen your skills. And then we bring in professional development pros who cover issues that I think are critical for any community leader. Business etiquette with Sharon Hill, communication skills with Zemo, parliamentary procedures and running an effective meeting. If you're going to be the chair of a board, how to do that with Erin Nelson. We also develop your skills through experiential learning activities. We'll do a high ropes course. You'll be up in the trees if you're brave enough and learning about team. Who are you? Who are we as a cohort? What can we do together? You'll also start the program with an intention setting activity to make the most of it as far as your personal and professional goals. And then at the end of the program, you're going to set some clear goals as well and put them in writing. So we bookend the program to make sure you stay on track. And each session, we have a word or concept of the day to deepen your own leadership skills and reflection. The third domain of competency is connected. So this is all about establishing meaningful and lasting relationships. So of course, through the program itself, you're going to be meeting with tons of elected officials and community leaders, building your network, folks you can stay in touch with after the program. And then, of course, you're doing all sorts of activities with your peers in your cohort. There's a woman who just got elected to Chapel Hill Town Council named Camille Berry. When she ran for office, she said her best campaign workers were her leadership peers from her cohort, that they were knocking on doors and helped her get into office. And then you'll also get connected through receptions and events that the chamber hosts, and with your other leadership alumni. So it's ongoing, not just during the program, but post-program, you continue to establish and maintain relationships. And then the fourth domain is getting engaged. And this is what it's all about. It's not, again, about taking, it's about giving back to the community and finding how you can add value. So at the end of every session, you are going to get an invitation for whatever that topic is of how you can get more involved. So you'll always be presented with an invitation to deepen your engagement. You'll have all sorts of opportunities to participate in chamber networking events and programs throughout leadership. And then as a cohort, you do a small miracle activity. This is a community-based team project where you together select a nonprofit and throw your collective weight behind it by doing some sort of fundraiser activity to raise awareness and raise some funds for that organization. So these are the 4 competencies that you can expect from our program if you choose to sign up. Now I'm going to go through a couple of pictures that hopefully will bring it to life a bit for you. So this is the 2018 cohort stepping off the bus after they just did their bus tour. And then here's some pictures of the experiential learning. So you've got folks up in the high ropes course on the left, and then on the ground activities of trust activities. And then in the bottom corner, that's a walking tour of the Durham Tech campus in Orange County. And then here on the top left, you see 2 of our participants from the 2019 class doing a presentation to the peers, their cohort, of what they think the nonprofit should be and the calls for their small miracle activity. On the top right, you see our participants having lunch at the local shelter, the IFC shelter. Bottom left, they're taking a walking tour of Hillsborough, the Riverwalk, meeting the woman behind the Riverwalk, which is a phenomenal environmental and economic development project. And then bottom right, you've got Sharon Hill leading the business etiquette workshop. She's fantastic. What you don't see is all their faces. They're cracking up. She's the best. All right, a few more. On top left here, you see they're at the high ropes course. Top right, that's a walking tour through Hillsborough Riverwalk. Bottom left is an example of a session, Aaron doing his data dump, the 101, that's at Durham Tech. Bottom right is at the Piedmont Food Processing Center. This is an innovation place where folks who want to start their own food business can set up shop there. And so they all have to wear hairnets because they're taking a tour, in case you're wondering. And then top left here, this is a community passport activity. So they're donating blood. On the top right, one of the other activities is you have to go attend an elected official meeting. So a bunch of them of a previous cohort went as a group to a town hall meeting and took a selfie. Bottom left, he doesn't look like he's having much fun, but he's riding public transportation for the first time. And bottom middle, one of our participants, I believe that's from Community Home Trust, visited the town council meeting and stuck around afterwards and met one of our elected officials. And bottom right is, that's Tim Dalton. He's one of our board members now. He's the president of the region's, one of our banks for the region, Truist, and he's doing his police patrol ride along. Okay, so that was a fun little gallery. Now I'm going to go into requirements and then registration. I want to check in with McKenzie. Are you seeing any comments or questions before I'm okay? I'm going to keep on trucking. So if you decide you want to enroll in Leadership 2022, you should know that there are 3 requirements. First and foremost, to successfully complete the program and earn a certificate and be able to call yourself a leadership fellow, you need to attend all the sessions, and there are 10 sessions. We do understand things come up, so we allow up to 2 absences, but they have to be excused, and we'll give you a makeup activity so that you can, to the best of our ability, capture what we were trying to teach through that session. But you, so yes, you would need to attend at least 8 out of 10. You would need to complete the community passport activity, and this is on the honor system, but you'll get a list of options and you'll have to pick a certain number of those and then attest that you've done them. And it's things like donating blood or riding public transportation and such. And then the third and final requirement is complete the small miracles. And this is what you all would do together. You're going to collectively pick a nonprofit and then host some sort of event to promote it and help do some fundraising for them. And it's a really fun project. An example, the 2018 class picked Extraordinary Ventures, which is a nonprofit that has revenue generating business programs where they take people who are on the spectrum and give them opportunities to work, gainful employment that they love. And it's a wonderful nonprofit. And the group actually raised like $13,000. We do not expect you all to raise that much money, but they really got after it. So we just ask that you raise at a minimum enough to cover a scholarship for the next year's class. And then I think cross at least like $1,000 for the nonprofit itself. That number, we can talk as a group to decide what we think is most fair, but it's not meant to be a super duper heavy lift. Okay, the registration process. So if you are committed to personal and professional growth and you have a passion for learning and a desire to serve our community, then I want to invite you and encourage you to apply for Leadership 2022. The fee is $17.50 for chamber members, $19.50 for chamber non-members. And that covers all of our programming, session materials, meals. We do have discounts for our major investors, 50% off and 25% off. So if you think you're a part of a company or organization that's a major investor, but you're not sure what discount, just give us a call. We'll make sure you know what the price is. And we don't want the price to be a barrier for anyone. So we do have a limited number of partial scholarships, and we have a very simple form you can complete on the registration page. And if you have any questions at all about a scholarship, don't hesitate to contact us. McKenzie, who is on this Zoom, will be very responsive. If you need a scholarship, please apply for that before this Monday morning, because we're going to be meeting as a team this Monday afternoon after Easter to take some decisions and see if we can accommodate everyone's requests. Now, once you're ready to register, it's a pretty simple online process. It's just 2 steps, and it should, if everything goes the way we hope, it shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes of your time. But registration does close next Thursday, April 21st. So for the registration process, the first thing is you just enter some information. We have 9 bits of information we need. We need your name and org, a short bio about yourself, because we share that with your cohort peers. We want to know how you heard about leadership and why you want to participate. Doesn't need to be long, just a sentence or 2. We need your emergency contact, any allergies or dietary restrictions, and then any other relevant necessary information, such as are there accommodations we can make so that you have a great experience, like if you have a physical challenge or a language barrier. And then we need you to attest that you are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and that your employer is aware that you are signing up. And that last bit is important because this is a big time commitment. And so you need to be fully transparent with your employer if you're not self-employed to make sure they are supportive of your engagement. And then once all those boxes are ticked, you can make payment online. And the system is set up for a credit card payment. Just contact McKenzie if you want to make an alternative payment. But once you pay, you're registered and you are enrolled. So I'm going to pause there. I just shared a lot of information and I want to open the floor for any questions or discussion. I'm going to first go to Aaron to see if I missed anything or any points he wants to reinforce. And then I'm going to ask McKenzie to do the same. And then we'll go to the group.
No, that was fabulous. And you can see the kind of preparation and enthusiasm that you can expect from the program.
Thanks, Aaron. McKenzie, did I miss anything or do you want to clarify anything?
Nope, I had a question about the start date of the program. So the kickoff is May 11th, and you can find the schedule online at carolinachamber.org/leadership. And then I had a question about how many participants we typically have in a session.
We traditionally take 20 participants. On the high end, we've gone to 25, almost 30. I think our sweet spot's around 20. We've had classes, cohorts as small as about a dozen. I fully expect us to be full tilt boogie this year. So if you're interested, please sign up sooner than later, because once we get to about 25, we'll probably close registration. Erin, do you want to add anything as far as class size?
No, but on that kickoff, it's a reception, an evening of that first night, 2-hour reception, and then the following day is the all-day ropes course. If you do see a conflict, that is one, the ropes course is really one that's hard to miss. A lot of relationships are built and shared experiences happen there.
Yeah, that actually is really fun. It's, you don't think it's that high up, but then you get up there and whoo, your heart starts beating. My legs were kind of shaking. It's like uncontrollable. You don't realize that your muscles just start getting a little nervous.
And should that have frightened you away, that description, there are alternate options, and there's some folks, we just ask that you try. We ask that you try. And we've done this with folks in their 70s, and we've done this with folks with great athleticism and zero athleticism. The folks that do that should not be a concern for you. We have a good ways to accommodate everybody's abilities.
Thanks, Erin. Well, let me open up the floor. Are there any questions or concerns or points that need to be clarified? Please go ahead and you can open your mic or you can raise your hand and I'll call on you, whatever you're more comfortable.
I was curious if you could reiterate about the passport. Was it, I think you were saying earlier, it's you have a whole list and then you have to do a certain number on the list?
That's right. Yeah, think of it as like, a US government passport where you get stamped when you travel. And it's this idea of visiting certain things, doing certain things, and then just attesting, checking off that you did them. And we try and make them as fun as possible. And you can do them on your own, or you could do them with other friends, whether they're in leadership or not. But it's the idea of getting out and doing. We can't fit everything we want you to do in the program. So the passport is a nice alternative. And even that doesn't get us to cover everything. So at the end of the program, you'll likely get a list from me of like, okay, there were 15 other things I wanted to do with you and we just couldn't pack them in, but here's the list so you could do them on your own.
Recommended things, yeah. So you don't do the whole list, you cherry pick what you want.
That's right.
Okay.
Some will be required. I think and we're still designing, but required to ride public transit, required to attend a meeting of elected officials, and then I will call them optional mandatories. You have to do some of them, but which one you do is somewhat up to you.
Got it.
Thanks, Erin. What else?
Just to clarify, these activities are due outside the meeting days, correct? Because we do it on our own. Is that right?
That's correct. But some savvy leadership participants in the past were able to thread some needles. So, for example, we have one session in downtown Chapel Hill, and our chamber is just down the street from downtown Chapel Hill, right on a bus stop. And so we had some participants figure out they could just park it out here and all together ride the bus up the hill to this session. And it worked out perfectly, right? So there is some, and I try, and as director of the program, to flag those easy opportunities for folks. Or if there's a town council meeting happening one night, I'll let the group know, say, hey, I'm going to be at this meeting. I'm actually speaking. If you want to join me, we can meet there, and I'll make it as painless as possible for you.
In their
What
virtual
else?
setting, we'll figure out whether or not attending virtually counts. If you're hear a little concern about time commitment and outside the assigned hours. If that's it, Caroline. Okay.
It's not a concern, it's just like a clarification question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I hope as you've heard our description, if you came in maybe at a 1 out of 10, with 10 being like, you're definitely going to sign up, 5 is on the fence, 1 is, hopefully you've moved along that spectrum closer to 10, because we would love to have you, all of you. I'm very impressed with everyone on the call today. And I think we have the making of an awesome cohort this year. For me, as a graduate of the program, I can tell you, I had worked on global and national issues throughout my career based in Washington, D.C. I worked at the White House. I worked at a global healthcare company called GSK. I worked at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I worked for a national nonprofit. And I really felt a strong calling to move to Chapel Hill and be a part of a local community. And so when I did leadership, I really did it with the intention of wanting to understand this community and figure out what areas where I can make a positive difference. Now, we don't recommend this for others. It's not meant to be a job change kind of program, but that is what happened for me, because I fell in love with the chamber, and now I have the pleasure of directing this program. And so it is a really special way to figure out how you can get more involved and to just become a better version of yourself too. And plus, it's just fun. It's just really fun. So I hope you all do choose to register. And if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm going to take my slides back so that you have my cell number handy. And in the email follow-up, you'll have it as well. Give me just a moment. Bear with me. Okay, so as far as next steps, again, learn more about the program, and you can register at carolinachamber.org/leadership. If you have any questions or concerns at all, just give me a call. That's my cell number on the screen, 919-696-0781. And my email is there as well. And then, of course, if you have any questions at all about affording the program and you're interested in a scholarship, please don't hesitate to contact us. McKenzie is handling that, and we'll make that as painless as possible for you. Any final questions or comments?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael. My pleasure. Well, I'll leave the Zoom open for a couple more minutes in case anyone had a question and they just kind of wanted to wait till others logged off. But let's consider this meeting adjourned. I thank you for your time, and I hope to see you in Leadership 2022. Thanks, everybody.